Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our this is our September edition of our podcast now. So I'm Fran, I'm one of the infection prevention and control nurses.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen. I'm one of the senior IPCNs in the team and I'm back. Apologies for missing the last episode. I was having a nice little holiday. And today we have with us Nicky Keenan.
Hello.
Nicky, do you want to just introduce your role and what you're doing within the trust?
Yeah, sure. So I've come in to work with GMS as a project manager, implementing the new National Cleaning Standards 2021, which I think is what we're going to be discussing today.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you might, some people might have seen us sort of wandering around doing some auditing, things like that. So today we're going to be discussing, our new national cleaning standards, which are sort of gradually coming into play. So Nicky's coming on board with us today just to discuss a bit about that, what it means for us, what it means for you guys, what it means for the public, etc. And just going over what it is really. So Nicky, would you be able to just tell us a bit about what they are?
Yeah, sure. So the old cleaning standards were from 2007. I think we've been through a lot in that period of time, including a pandemic. So there's a recognition that perhaps we should be doing an overhaul of looking at our cleaning and making sure it's adequate for our hospitals. And it's been a national project and implementation. So what it means for us is they're trying to improve the collaboration between cleaning, infection control, estates and nursing to recognise that if we work together collaboratively, that our cleaning standards will probably be a lot better and more effective.
Making it more of a sort of MDT approach, really, rather than it sitting solely with like domestic services, which is what it feels like it has done up to this point.
Yeah. And as part of that, to sort of be showing how we are performing with our cleaning as well, because obviously we do that. We audit the areas, but anyone walking into the hospital, into a ward, won't know that, and they won't know what it means either. Although the information is available, it's not readily available. So, it's to improve that communication, I think, between us and the public, as well as collaboratively within our staff groups.
I think one of my favourite bits about it is the fact that it's like a national standardised approach. Yeah. Like, I really hope that they do the standardisation of uniforms. I just like things to be like the same everywhere. It just makes sense. Let's just keep it nice and why reinvent the wheel? Well, Let's just keep it all the same and then everybody knows where they stand.
No, definitely. I mean, I've just like a little thing to add in. I mean, I first heard about them when I went to my first ever conference as an infection control nurse. Somebody worked in Kent, and they said that they'd had a really good response to the new national cleaning standards because it really kind of brought on the, wanting to do more and wanting to work together more. So it's going to be,
and it's everyone's responsibility,
exactly, absolutely.
Which is sometimes,
sometimes
it needs a bit more engagement, doesn't it?
It does, but I think everyone knowing what those responsibilities are is useful. And I think there's a lot of grey area, which these standards are trying to sort of rule out, but also to bring those parties together as well. So everyone's singing from the same page. And as we're rolling out, we've been doing it on a trial basis. And as we've been rolling it out, we've had nothing but positive feedback from that perspective, particularly from the nursing teams or from the frontline facing teams who can see that we're trying to do this from a joined up approach and for the benefit of a ward. We're not coming in to change and make things harder. This is supposed to improve things for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, Nicky and I have done quite a few audits together, and we have, like Nicky said, it's that I don't think we've ever had any sort of negative feedback on it, because people are sort of, initially it's sort of, oh, what's going on? And then when the realization comes that we want to make things better, we want to try to make things look a bit nicer, and we've got all of the people there in the room to action that then and there, it then becomes a very positive, visit and reaction, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the word audit can be scary. So it sounds like we're coming in to scrutinise, and I think once we're there, it's very quickly realised that isn't the case. No. We're here to try and make it better for that area.
And it's also not us doing it. It's a whole collaborative approach. It's everybody is taking part in this audit. It's not us auditing the ward as such. It's everyone auditing every element, and everyone looking at each other, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're trying to audit from a patient perspective as well. If a patient comes in objectively, what are they going to think? What are they going to see? That's what we're trying to get to the bottom of here as well. Of course, we want it to be clean, but from the patient experience side of it as well. What, how will they interpret it?
Exactly, absolutely. And the commitment to cleanliness charter. Again, I'm just a complete novice. I don't feel like I know a huge amount. What does that involve?
Okay, so the biggest change that will come from these standards is publicly displayed information, and there's two parts to that. There'll be the commitment to cleanliness charter. So that is basically a spreadsheet really that sort of outlines what the different responsibilities are between nursing teams or domestics. We don't go into a huge amount of detail, but it's just a general overview for that particular ward and that area. Alongside our commitment to making that ward clean, what it is that we're trying to achieve and what that collaborative approach looks like. So that will be going up outside every ward in every area within the hospital, alongside a star rating, which I'm sure we'll come on to shortly, which reflects the cleanliness of the ward based on the most recent audit that's taken place.
Yeah, so when the star rating is launched, it's my understanding, Nicky, that the star rating will be positioned within the same board as the commitment to cleanliness charter. Will be two documents, I guess, that are all together in this one board on the outside of a ward or on the inside?
It's as close as we can get to the entrance.
Okay.
So it might be on the outside, it might be just inside,
and I guess it might depend slightly on the area.
Yes, because we're not uniformed here. We've got all kinds of different buildings and things. So yes.
Yeah, Cheltenham will be interesting. On that
yes.
So it was my understanding that there's going to be a lot of comms going out around this in September. Sort of including what these star ratings are. They're not going to be suddenly rolled out to all areas. It's something that has been in progress now for the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been implementing these standards on a area by area basis. We do a trial. We change the standards to reflect what we should be doing in terms of how frequently we clean certain things. We do it for 5 weeks, and then we go and check, and we make sure that it's fit for purpose for that ward with one of those audits that we were talking about earlier, an efficacy audit. If everyone's happy, at that point, we would be putting up the star rating. So as we go through every area, every ward, that's when we'll start putting up those stars. Scores on the doors approach, I think, is how it's being seen. So the star is, it's a mark out of 5. It's a score out of 5, just like food standard hygiene ratings. So you could walk up to any ward, and outside will be that star for the most recent audit. Which, should be interesting. We, of course, we hope for 5 stars throughout. Whether or not that's doable is another thing. There's lots of challenges to achieving that.
So what will happen sort of if the initial star rating is lower?
We'd hope that wouldn't be the case. And I think half the reason for having a gentle rollout with our stars means that we can keep on top of the ones early on. If we have a low star rating, there is a procedure that we go to that is triggered for us to go and rectify what those issues were. Because I hope that wouldn't be the case anyway. But anything that's a 3-star or below would trigger a certain type of process. To resolve those issues.
Okay. What would that process sort of involve?
So it would be around how quickly we need to turn around and resolve what's found within that audit, and that can be within the hour for some elements, particularly if it's on like a very high risk area or an FR1 as it's now called. So depending on what elements fail, depends how serious they are and how quickly we do a turnaround for that. But there's a whole procedure that we would follow to do that. That unfortunately, that's if we had an audit that came out at a 2-star rating, it does remain. Although we would do the rectification and we would demonstrate that, we could also display what we've done. It could still be there.
Okay. How in what time period would you kind of be able to say re-review to change the star rating?
So how frequently an area is audited depends on its risk rating. So we have 6 categories from FR1 to FR6.
Right, okay.
And FR1 would be like your theatre, and that would be audited weekly. So I really hope a theatre wouldn't get a 2-star rating. If it did, it would be up there for potentially a week before we would go in and re-audit. And, but like I say, things would be resolved much quicker than that, particularly for that kind of area. An FR2 is audited monthly. So it would be up there for a month before we
Sure.
could go in and re-audit it. As much as we might love to say, oh, we fixed it all and we could re-audit it tomorrow, it's not how it works. The idea is that we keep the standards up high all the time. And in theory, we should never get down as low as a 2-star in the first place. I really hope that would be the case.
Definitely.
So, for instance, an area such as outpatients, what kind of FR rating would that have?
So that's an FR4, and that's one of our most publicly accessed areas, interestingly. So it's what's in the public eye the most. An FR4, when it's cleaned, needs an 85% score for its cleaning standards to pass, to get a 5-star rating.
Okay. So versus, I suppose, an area like critical care, I guess that would be an FR1.
That's an FR1, that's a 98% that it needs to actually pass.
Yeah.
So, and it's all down to how frequently, how often, how intensely we're cleaning all of the elements within that area.
And am I right in understanding that the FR rating is based on like the demographic of patients and what kind of level of care those people require while they're in hospital?
Absolutely. So if we're talking about areas where perhaps we might see some cancer patients or areas that we might call for augmented care, it's usually an FR1 area. So it is all down to the risk that patient is potentially exposed to because of procedural things.
So one thing that had occurred to me was, what if people on the floor face questions from patients, visitors, members of the public, and they're sort of like, I can see that you have, hopefully not, but let's go, say for instance, a 3-star rating. They'd be like, why are you 3 stars and not 5? How would we want our staff to... We want them to understand about the national cleaning standards, and we want them to be able to, confidently discuss that with people. I know that there's going to be a sort of further information released, but where could people go for more information about this, so that if they were asked questions about it by patients or members of staff, they could access some more information?
Yeah, we really recognise that it's going to raise eyebrows and questions from patients who I think for 2 reasons. One, they might come to an area and see a 5-star rating and disagree.
Quite possibly.
They might see something on the floor and go, well, that can't be a 5-star rating.
Yeah, because it is a snapshot in time, isn't it?
It's a snapshot. It is for the patient it is, because it relates to the most recent audit, which could be quite some time ago. And then likewise, if there is a 3-star, and I really hope there isn't, I hope we're 4 and above at least, but if there is a 3-star, they then might not want to have treatment in that area because they don't believe it's clean. So yeah, we do recognise that it's going to create potentially some noise, and that will come towards our frontline facing staff, our receptionists, our nursing staff predominantly. We're putting something together, so we've got a structured approach for how we deal with those queries. So things like QR codes that will be accessible from our star rating board displays that patients can go and get some more information from if they want to, and they can be directed towards that. And a contact email address through to us over in GMS. So that if you do have any direct complaints that they'd like to make, in the first instance, they could come through that channel as well.
Okay. Oh, that's really interesting. And hopefully that would sort of put some people at ease, thinking that they're not going to get like a barrage of questions and things that they might not feel entirely confident to answer.
Yeah. And we will be doing lots of engagement activities throughout September that's going to be, explaining more about what the star ratings are and how we're going to be approaching that as a trust. So there will be some comms that comes out about that.
Yeah. I think there's going to be some screensavers and bits like that as well.
Yes,
You'll probably see us out and about.
Yeah, you won't be able to miss us, I think.
So when is the star rating planning to be sort of implemented properly? When's it kind of starting to be rolled out?
So we're going to start putting the stars up on the areas we've signed off and we've completed towards the end of September / early October. That's our target at the moment. We're on track for that.
Sure.
And we're hoping by the end of the financial year that we should have them up in all of the areas.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So we have been going around for the past few months completing these efficacy audits, and anybody who's been involved with one, which has been lots of members of staff, and it's been really helpful and a really sort of, we've seen some fantastic engagement. When we first come on, it's sort of, what is an efficacy audit? And as we've already sort of mentioned, we've then explained the process and gone through it, and it's found to have been a helpful thing to carry out in whichever area we have been on. Those areas that have been signed off, I think I'm right in saying they'll be the first ones to sort of officially get their star rating.
Yes. So the rollout plan that we had was to go to our FR1 areas first and foremost, because we obviously that's the highest target, for us to achieve. We want to make sure that we put our focus in there. And we've also done the FR4 areas, which are your outpatient areas and your patient facing. There were lots of reasons for that, also to do with our resource and how easy it was for us to adjust from the old standards to the new standards, and that has gone well. So the efficacy audits and the feedback we've had from the efficacy audits so far has been really positive.
Yeah.
We're going to be coming towards our FR2 areas now, which is mostly wards, so tower block, and that kind of area. Same approach over. We're coming. And that'll be the same in Cheltenham. And then we don't have a lot of FR3 areas. That tends to be sort of mental health areas, which for the acuteness of this hospital, we don't have an awful lot of. And then you've got your FR5s and 6s, which are some of your outer areas, like stores or porters and that kind of thing. So that's our rollout approach. We are just finishing our FR1 and our FR4 areas now. So it would be your very high risk areas and your outpatient areas where stars will start to go up.
Brilliant. So I think to just sort of summarise and with a few sort of take home messages from today's session, what we're wanting to explain about the new national cleaning standards, which are, as we've already said, rolling out across the country. We're just wanting people to hopefully try to see this as a positive impact that it will have on our organisation and on the cleaning standards that we have within our organisation, and that this is a collaborative approach. This isn't just down to domestic services. This is very much an MDT approach, and we need everyone's involvement and engagement with it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've all got a part to play in contributing to, a positive outcome for every area. If everyone plays their part, then it should be fine. But I think from a nursing perspective, or from people that work within the wards and within the areas, if there is an issue and it's not picked up at an earlier time, like through the efficacy audit, or while we're trialling the new standards in an area, we're always still here. Domestic services are absolutely contactable. If you do, if things start to go wrong for some reason, or you've got inconsistency of staffing, please raise it. We don't want to see the standards drop when we might not necessarily have known about it. So the earlier you raise it, the quicker we can react.
Yeah, absolutely. I think good communication as per, just with all staff for that multidisciplinary
Definitely.
approach.
And I think the same approach to any other issues on the ward, like if there's any estates issues that are outstanding, or that might have just newly happened on the ward, if something breaks or something cracks or something like that, raise it quickly. And if you're ever having any issues getting hold of people, you can always reach out to the IPC team, and we can always try to, field those different queries to the most appropriate person.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would even say equally, even GMS or estates-wise, if you see anything from a nursing point of view that you're sort of concerned about that's sort of impacting, then you can definitely bring that up as well.
Absolutely.
Just from literally all angles.
Yeah, raise it on the ward, raise it to us, do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Just please tell us. But thank you so much for your time today, Nicky,
No, thank
and
you.
for shedding a bit of light on the new national standards of cleaning.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot. So that's good.
Good. No, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. We are going to be obviously back in October. Don't know what it's going to be about yet, but wait and see.
You guys can decide. Yeah. You can give us some
Come on.
feedback and tell us what you'd like to hear
God,
about.
our brains are pretty. We're running. Not that we're running out. I don't think we'd ever run out of anything in IPC. Really, could we? So as usual, you can contact us on 6122 for Gloucester, or you can contact us on 3129 for Cheltenham or our acute ICN email address. Just another sort of little thing to add in as well, that
Plug.
we've got
It's a
our
plug.
plug. We, of course, are doing a plug. Of course I am. Just that Jen and I, well, our team, the whole team actually, are organising our IPC in Action Study Day, which is on Wednesday, the 4th of October. Anybody that wants to sign up, you are very welcome to.
You do only have a few days left.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
Yeah,
closing we're closing the opportunity for registration on the 1st of September.
Yeah, so just email us obviously with your name, your role, and any dietary requirements, and it's going to be a really good day. Yeah,
Nikki's
gonna be
there.
awesome.
I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm
Nikki's
coming.
there.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a day out.
yeah, free lunch, so it's all the positives. But yeah, if you've got any comments, any feedback, as per usual, please just let us know. So yeah, I think we will be seeing you next month.
We'll see you next time. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.